Hey everyone, ever dreamed of owning a piece of a skyscraper? Or maybe a villa on the coast?
Sounds fancy.
Well, today we're looking at EstateX and whether it really makes real estate investing, possible for everyone.
Okay, yeah. I actually just listened to a podcast episode all about it.
Oh, perfect. So we'll be using that as our main source today. And it claims you can own a slice of a skyscraper or a beach villa all right from your couch.
Really? All from my couch. That's a pretty big claim.
Right, so let's get into it and
Oh.
see if it's really as simple as it sounds.
Okay, so what about EstateX really stands out to me is how it kind of takes on these traditional barriers to getting into real estate.
Great, because usually you need tons of money just to even consider buying property.
Yeah, exactly. Like a small fortune. But with EstateX, they're saying you can do it with fractional ownership.
Fractional ownership. So I don't know, like owning a fraction of something.
Yeah, exactly. So like imagine you and your friends want to buy a vacation cabin.
Okay,
You each own a share, you all get to enjoy the cabin, and then you split all the costs, right?
makes sense.
Well, EstateX is applying that same concept, but to really valuable real estate. So you could own a tiny percentage of a property along with other investors.
So instead of needing like hundreds of thousands of dollars, I could put in much less and still benefit if the property, increases in value.
Exactly. Plus, you could get some of the rental income too.
Oh, right. Yeah, because if other people are renting it out.
It's like owning one slice of the pizza instead of the whole pie.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah, you get to enjoy the rewards, but you don't have to eat the whole thing yourself.
I can definitely get behind that. But how does it all actually work? I feel like there's got to be more to it.
Yeah, so there's another big piece of the puzzle, and that is blockchain technology.
Okay, so now it's getting a little techie. I know it's secure, but I'm not exactly a crypto expert.
You don't have to be. So
Yeah.
just think of blockchain like a digital ledger, and it keeps track of every single transaction, but in a way that's transparent and also tamper-proof.
No, it's super secure.
Yeah. So in the case of EstateX, it makes sure that your ownership of that property fraction is secure and can be verified. It's like having this digital notary always watching over your investment.
Okay, that does make me feel better.
Mhm.
But what about the actual passive income part? How does EstateX actually generate that for investors?
Right, good question. So it's all about the rental market. Let's say they list a luxury apartment building. You buy a fraction of it. People are going to rent out those apartments. Right?
Yeah.
So that building is going to be bringing in rental income, and you receive a portion of that income based on, how much you own.
It's like if the building brings in $20,000 a month and I own 1%, I'd get $200.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't have to deal with tenants or anything?
You got it. Basically, you're like a silent partner. You get the rewards of owning the property, but without the hassle of actually having to manage it.
That does sound nice. That's where the passive income really comes in.
Exactly. You're not actively having to do anything.
But I imagine there are still risks involved, right? Because real estate values can go up and down and the rental market isn't always that stable.
Right. You're absolutely right. No investment is completely risk-free, and that includes real estate.
Yeah.
So like you said, you could have markets going down, you could have to pay for unexpected repairs, or even like changes in the neighborhood that might impact your returns. But that's why EstateX really emphasizes diversification.
Oh, okay. So diversification, kind of like the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And, traditionally, diversifying your real estate portfolio would mean buying multiple properties, which take a ton of money.
Yeah, you'd need to be like a millionaire.
But EstateX lets you spread out your investments across different property types and locations, even with a smaller budget.
So instead of like betting everything on one apartment building in one city, I could have a tiny piece of a skyscraper in New York,
Right.
a condo on the beach in Miami,
Yeah.
and maybe even something in Europe.
Exactly. So you can build a portfolio that really reflects, your risk tolerance and how much risk you're willing to take on and your investment goals. This approach could potentially soften the blow if there are losses by spreading out your exposure across those different markets.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. You're spreading them out across a lot of different baskets.
Okay, so with EstateX, it sounds like you're not just, buying into a property, you're buying into a whole strategy.
Yeah.
But how does this compare to other ways of investing in real estate to get passive income?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it is important to look at EstateX in the context of other options. So on the one hand, you've got traditional real estate investing where you buy, the entire property.
Right.
And that can be very lucrative, but it also requires a huge amount up front.
Yeah.
And then you've got the ongoing management and dealing with tenants and repairs and
Yeah, all that fun stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not very passive when you're the one fixing that leaky toilet at 3 a.m.
No, definitely not.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got REITs.
REITs.
Yeah, real estate investment trusts.
Okay.
They're basically like bundles of properties that are traded on the stock market.
Okay.
So they offer diversification and liquidity, but your returns are kind of tied to how the whole REIT performs, not the individual properties that you pick.
So it sounds like EstateX is kind of somewhere in between.
Yeah.
You have more control and like direct exposure to how the property is doing than REITs, but without all the hassle of being a landlord.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. They're trying to offer like the best of both worlds, but of course there are still some inherent risks that you have to think about.
Right, because nothing's a sure thing. So what are some things that could really affect returns with EstateX?
Well, like any real estate investment, markets can fluctuate. So just like property values can go way up, they can also go down.
Right.
And that can obviously affect your investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the rental market. Even if a property's amazing and in a great spot, it might still sit empty sometimes.
Oh yeah, vacancies.
Exactly. And that can affect your passive income stream.
So even though EstateX is simplifying the process, it doesn't mean you can just skip doing your research.
Absolutely not. I mean, you really want to make informed decisions. EstateX gives you tools and information to help you, evaluate those investments. But it's still up to you to look at the risks and the rewards.
Right, so don't just click buy on the first property you see.
Exactly. Do your homework.
It's like any investment. Research is key. But beyond the financial aspects, I'm interested in EstateX's mission.
Yeah.
They seem to be trying to do more than just make money.
Yeah, that's what really sets EstateX apart to me. Their vision goes beyond just profit. They're trying to create financial freedom and wealth building opportunities for people who haven't really been able to access real estate investing before.
So people who never thought they could own a beachfront property could own a little piece of one.
Yeah, exactly. It's about making real estate accessible and kind of challenging this idea that only rich people can create wealth.
That everyone deserves a chance.
Exactly. Regardless of where they come from or how much money they make, it's about empowering people to take control of their financial future. And that's a mission that I think is really worth supporting. But in the end, it's up to each person to decide, if EstateX aligns with their goals and how much risk they're comfortable with.
So for someone listening right now, what are the biggest takeaways from our deep dive into EstateX? What should they be considering?
Well, we've covered a lot of ground. We looked at how EstateX uses fractional ownership and blockchain technology to make it easier to get started in real estate. And we've talked about the potential for passive income and why it's so important to diversify, to try and reduce your risk.
And that no investment is risk-free.
No, EstateX is no different. The markets can change, and so can the rental market, and that can impact your return.
But one of the most exciting parts is that they're really trying to change who can invest in real estate.
Yeah, to open it up to everyone.
So it's not just the platform itself, it's about the potential to change how wealth is created.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting to think about. Like something that's usually so exclusive, real estate could actually become more open, but in the end, it's really up to each person whether or not EstateX is right for them.
Exactly. We've given them a taste of how it works, the pros and cons, even the big picture stuff they're going for. But, information is only useful if you actually use it.
Right. So if you're listening and you've always wanted that beachfront property, but it seemed impossible, well, maybe EstateX can help. Like it's taking that dream and making it, more bite-sized.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the costs and all the complicated stuff with traditional real estate, you can test the waters with a smaller investment.
Yeah, and you can learn as you go.
Exactly.
It's like a real estate training ground, but with real money on the line. And who knows, maybe that fraction of a property will inspire you to go for a whole one someday.
It's all about taking those first steps towards building, long-term wealth. And with EstateX, you're not just investing in the actual properties, you're investing in this idea of more inclusive future for real estate.
That's what I find so interesting about it. It's not just about making money, it's about making a difference, giving people the tools to control their financial future, no matter, their background or income.
Cool. So as we wrap up our deep dive into EstateX, the question for our listener is, could this be how we do real estate in the future? Is this a wave you want to ride?
We've laid out the information, what we've learned, the context. Now it's your turn to decide if EstateX is a good fit for you.
If the idea of passive income, diversifying your portfolio, and being part of something that's trying to make real estate more democratic sounds good to you, then maybe you should look into EstateX.
And hey, maybe someday you'll be relaxing on your virtual beachfront balcony, all because of a fractional investment that opened up a ton of possibilities.
It could happen. Just remember, informed decisions are empowering. Good luck with your investing journey.
And that's all for our deep dive on EstateX. We hope this was helpful and interesting. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of knowledge.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.